and I haven't pointed out directly, but yet you might have noticed, is that the Psalms often point forward to future Psalms. And in at least one way, Psalm 58 does this by bringing up a theme that has not only been brought up earlier, but points at least to such Psalms as Psalm 82, where the writer is speaking directly to the wicked, those who oppose the one who will be the anointed king. And so rather than a prayer to these people, the writer here and in the future and in other places, the writer, often David, sometimes others, is confronting the wicked, those who have decided to stand against the Messiah who will reign. And he confronts them and tries to point out to them that they indeed are not ruling justly, and that they are in a position of where their wickedness rules their own hearts, their own motives, their own intentions, and that they are in need of God's mercy. The second stanza points to such passages as shown here on the right-hand side in Luke chapter 20, where Jesus confronts the Pharisees, religious leaders, those who proclaim to be God followers and yet who go to great efforts in order to control, dominate, even stamp, or should I say, step on those that are below them socially, and even that do not have the same kind of political and religious power and authority that the religious rulers themselves do. And so Jesus confronts the Pharisees there as expressed in Luke 20 and warns them that they will come under God's judgment and be punished. You can see over here on the left-hand side on Psalm 58 how the problem of the wicked is not just in outward actions, but from their very intentions and from their very character. By the images that David uh, resorts to here in this particular psalm, for he refers to uh, those as children, as those who have been born from the womb. Of course, all babies are born from the womb, but his image here refers to babies themselves. And then also we see David referring to snakes. And he goes into that image and describes how these people are like snakes. They're not literally snakes, of course, but we see the image developed throughout the second stanza. And then we also see the image here of the lions and how David confronts these people as if they are lions. That is, they tear people apart with their words. We also see David referring to the image of a slug and how he is calling upon God to bring judgment in the way that slugs exist for such a short time and are hereby gone. David is asking for God to intervene and to cease the lives of those who depend upon themselves rather than to look upon or to God himself. And then this other image of thorns being swept away and the battle here of uh, the righteous being able to rejoice in their final victory. Such images look forward to such passages as Revelation chapter 18, where God addressing uh, those who have opposed him, who have rebelled, and while at the same time speaking to those who have aligned with him and the righteousness in his son, the final battle, the final victory that such followers of Christ will experience, and the final judgment that those who have not aligned themselves with Christ will also experience. So, as we look at this prayer, we see how David prays very aggressively against those who uh, are standing against him as a representative of God's people as he looks forward to the Messiah coming out of his line. And we, as believers in Jesus Christ, can bring such prayers of aggression to God, not taking our vengeance out ourselves against those who would oppose, but bringing such prayers, such uh, cries of needful deliverance that God Himself will bring forth what He knows is right as they face opposition and try to defend themselves from the ones who would oppose them and try to crush them and stamp out the Messiah's influence.